Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're all alright. This video will start another part of our HR syllabus, and this is where we're going to discuss the topic of leadership. Now, what is leadership? We know leadership is simply the art of motivating your workers to work towards a common goal, towards the corporate objective. And we know these corporate objectives are also decided by leaders in the organization, in the hierarchy, who are higher up in it. And in order to make sure that the entire company's objectives are being achieved, you have to show leadership qualities so that the workers who work within the organization feel compelled, feel motivated to work towards that company's goal. So it is the job of leaders, it is the job of managers who have to be good leaders so that they can clearly set the objectives of the organization. That's the first role of a leader. They got to show the vision, they got to show where the company is headed, they got to show what the business has to do to achieve that, and they got to show to the individual employees what they have to do in order to achieve those targets, and make them believe that if the company wins, the employees win as well. They also help to establish clearly what the company's organizational structure is. So the manager, the leader, will clearly have certain subordinates reporting to him or her. So you know exactly who makes the decision, who has the authority, and who is there to execute the company's organizational objectives. And lastly, what you definitely have to be as a leader is be a good role model for your employees. And no, this is not Thanos, this is not Marvel and half the population of the world gone with a simple click. This is simply a leader trying to be motivational, being an inspirational leader so that all the employees are gravitating towards him to be like him, to be the role model for every employee to follow. So as long as you have that, you know that you have all the right ingredients to be a good leader. And that's what the company expects you to do. So the skills of a leader are required at every stage of an organization. At every organization, there's a team. Whenever there's a team, there's got to be a leader. And for in any organization, especially the bigger the organization is, the more layers there are, the more leadership roles there are going to be. And most big companies will surely have a set of directors. These are those people who are there to make sure that the long-term objectives, the long-term planning of the company is being thought out. They are monitoring the goals. They are not there to, of course, execute the plans. They are not there to run the company on a daily basis, but these guys are there to provide direction, to provide some sort of way forward as to what everyone's supposed to do. And these guys are a combination of specialists of various backgrounds. This might be a group of 5 people who all have expertise in different functions, marketing, operations, HR, so that the company has a complete set of brains in the director level where you have the right objectives for the company being decided. Then you have managers at a lower level who are there to make sure that the company is been running smoothly on a day-to-day basis. And that's where you have your managers. These guys would be in the form of your CEO. These guys would be in the form of your department heads. And of course, these guys make sure that the long-term objectives are being achieved by achieving their short-term objectives of the business. So improving the sales would be the marketing guy's objective, improving output would be operations, and of course, those two objectives will collectively be the objectives of the CEO. So that's your short-term objective. And they're there to make sure that their teams and their departments are running smoothly. Then lastly, you will have another level of leadership in the form of supervisors. And these guys are here. These guys are here. And what they're doing is making sure that everyday tasks are being completed on time, and they provide the link between the workers who are at the bottom layer and the managers, of course, who are within the organization. So they're the link, and they make sure that everyday tasks, what everyone's supposed to do, is being done on time. As long as they ensure that if your daily tasks are met, then your short-term objectives will be achieved. And if these guys keep doing their jobs right, providing the right form of leadership, the long-term objective and the strategies will be achieved. And that will make the directors happy. And if the directors are happy, then the owners are happy, and then everybody's happy. So what makes a good leader? Well, there are certain qualities that must be there in a leader that are of the traditional nature and some that are more modern. So what are the traditional qualities? Well, first of all, your leader should be decisive and controlling. You're responsible for company's objectives. You got to make sure that your team's working smoothly. So you've got to implement and you've got to execute what the tasks are given to you as the leader of your team. And of course, whatever job you're doing, whatever function you're looking after, let's say you're head of operations, then you must have expertise in that function. So you must know what technology goes into production, what is the inventory level, all those things. You should have a good grip on that content if you're going to look after that function within the company. And there has to be some element of autocratic leadership. Now, that doesn't mean you always get your own way. It means that at some point, someone has to take the call, someone has to make the decision, and everyone's looking towards the leader to make that call. That's where you have to take it upon your own shoulders and be a little autocratic. But one thing you cannot afford to be is you cannot afford to let your targets get out of hand. So, a traditional quality is that you must be result oriented. Your results are basically the objectives that you given. The implementation of that is what you're judged on. And if you're achieving your results, that means you are achieving your targets, and as well as that, you're helping achieve your team achieve their targets as well. Then there are some modern qualities that we now look for in a leader. And you want your leaders to be charismatic, to be good at PR. You want them to be good at networking, good at communicating, taking feedback as well. You want them to be comfortable with two-way communication, because you want your workers to also be heard within an organization. You also want your leaders to have high emotional intelligence. This is understanding your own emotions, understanding the emotions of your team, and there's a video later on where we'll be discussing this entire topic in detail. So you need to have a good control over the emotional side of leadership. And lastly, be flexible and open. It's a very, very fast changing world. It's a dynamic external environment. So you must be ready to change your ways if the situation demands it. So a combination of these two will surely make sure that you are in the right you have the right qualities to be a leader.